Let me tell you something. This is a good time. I'm good. We're good. We're having a good time. All right. This is Troy J. Robertson back with FabFitFun for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills episode 19 recap. And let me tell you something. Jayne is not studying it. Dorit had a concussion scare. Lisa Rinna prefers Whispering Angel Rosé over LVPs. And Teddy and Kyle are on the Liddy committee. Before we get into it, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to FabFitFun's YouTube channel for tons more content on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with me every single week, and for tons of other great content with FabFitFun. Comment down below, stay active. The season is coming to an end, people. Let's get into it, shall we? Last night's It's a Look is going to Kyle Richards for the all gray ensemble during wine tasting. The light gray hat with the light gray petticoat. It was stunning. It was a good look. Again, struggling to find some looks here in Provence because nothing's really standing out, but that to me, I just really enjoyed that one. I thought it was a good outfit. Paired well. Kudos to you. Nice job, Kyle Richards. You can pull off a hat. Last night's quote of the night is going to Dorit, and it's during the wine tasting as well. The wine tasting was hysterical, so anybody who watched, I hope you were rolling on the floor laughing just like I was. I love a wine tasting. It's more of like a social gathering as opposed to like a boozing session. To which I agree with. Even though the ladies did end up having a boozing session. Troy's titillating topics. Topic number 1. The helicopter ride over the vineyards in France was stunning. I really haven't had the urge to go back to Europe again. I just feel like a giant when I'm there, and I feel like the food portions are really small, and I like big, huge food portions. I'm a large eater, and I like a good southern food portion. And after this, after seeing those vineyards, it was stunning. I'm going to France. Mark my words. Bonjour. Topic number 2. During the wine tasting, when the ladies called out Dorit for pretending to dump her wine in the toss bowl, like when you don't like it or you don't want to finish the glass because you're just supposed to taste, she's literally taking a bone-dry glass because she's drank it all, and she's like dumping the little bit of drop that's left in it. They completely called her out, and I thought that that was hilarious because that would be me if I was wine tasting, like doing what you're supposed to be doing, like pretending to either spit it out or dumping the rest of the wine, doing it because it's the act that's supposed to happen, but not doing it because you're drinking all the wine. Number 3, Kyle impersonating Teddy's walk is literally spot on. It's like she's getting off a horse. She's got the shoulders rolled forward. She's got the deep voice, the posture, like Kyle had this spot on. She also had Jayne's. It was a little inflated or enhanced, but the demeanor behind the Jayne impersonation was really good. Like she had that spot on. I'm good. We're good. We're having fun. We're having a good time. And Jayne admitted it herself. She's dead on. Like she owned it. She knew exactly that Kyle had it right. So after what we saw the night before with the ladies discussing Jayne as an alter ego and Rinna using that as an excuse to act the way that she acted, the ladies wake up, everyone's in a great mood. Jayne comes down, she's got this migraine. And let me tell you something. Some people, when they have a migraine, anyone who struggles with migraines, I don't anymore, but you really don't want to do anything. Now, unlike her, I've never wanted to not drink just because I've had a migraine, but I have an aunt who has a migraine, and when she has a migraine, it is game over. She is down for the count. Like there's something about a migraine that just puts you in a mood. And that combined with, she didn't really know where the two were getting at last night with this bringing up the Jayne as a persona and should she be offended or not. I think that combined with it just put her in a bad mood. And we're only human. And as Rinna said towards the end of the episode, we're all doing the best that we can. We're all just trying to get by. We're all doing the best that we can. And so that's kind of what sets the tone for the day, as we know if you watched. And I think that Erika kind of waking up like that, Teddy just can't grasp Erika. I feel like what Rinna said at the end of the episode is so true. And it's that Teddy needs affirmation that everything is perfect and great, and Erika doesn't always give that. She's not as maybe emotionally prophetic as Teddy is. And I think that there is sort of an approval that she is looking for, and I think that Rinna was right in that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are certain people who need approval. I think everyone loves approval. I know that I strive for approval from some of my peers as well too. Like, I need that affirmation from some of my peers that like, hey, we're good. Because we might be good friends, but we might communicate differently. There's the 5 languages of love, okay? And everyone communicates differently. I want you guys to let me know what you think. Like, do you think it was the migraine, or do you think that she was a little perturbed from the night before? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, was this genuinely like her upset with this, or do you think that she just had a migraine? Let me know what you think. I think that when you have a big personality like Erika, you're expected to be on all the time, and it's really, really hard. And so when Erika has been on the past couple of days and having some tomato juice and vodkas and kind of feeling lively with the ladies, and she's been pretty involved, and I would say fun and unicy as she has been in previous seasons this season. I think that this switch is just kind of what is making Teddi and Kyle feel that she doesn't want to have fun with them. But I think if you remove that, that wouldn't have ever occurred. I don't think they would have ever needed to bring that up. So, I mean, it's hard to be on all the time, and if she had a migraine, she had a migraine. I mean, there's nothing she can do about it. But when you have a big personality like that and you're in a big group like that, it is sometimes contagious, and everyone can kind of see that you're not being your normal, lively self. We get to the dinner at the end, and this is when everything like kind of just comes to a head. And Erika is being, Kyle and Teddi, they've had a few cocktails at this point, and listen, they're on vacation. They can do what they want. They're grown, they're adults. I'm not judging them by any means, but sometimes when you're in a state like they're in, and I've been there before, I'm sure we all have, and Erika hasn't had an ounce of anything that has induced her brain or her emotional state, it is very difficult, even if you are trying to get a correct point across. Like, if you're just trying to portray your genuine feelings, it's difficult for the person who is sober to respond to it in a positive or like take it in type of way, because sometimes the delivery is misconstrued when you're, had a few cocktails or a little inebriated, and the delivery seems a little scattered or out of left field because your brain, under the inducement of alcohol, is saying, say what you think, say what you think, say what you think. Like, so I think that if it would have been a sober conversation, it would have happened completely different. But since we've got Kyle and Teddi on the other end of the table, just like the drunk firing squad, the message got lost. Erika does admit, like, I feel like I've never been able to trust this group of ladies before. And I think that she's admitted in the past that she's never really been a girl's girl. She's never had girl best friends. There's always been a competitive factor. And I think a lot of girls deal with that. And there's a lot of people who can probably relate to that. I think that there are some people who just relate better to a male energy. Girls can be very competitive sometimes, and especially when you look like Erika Jayne, it's probably difficult for her. So for her to be able to open up to a group like this, and she's literally saying, I feel comfortable, that's why I've been able to open up and feel like this with you all. And then for her to kind of get this, you don't seem like you're having fun with us just because she has a migraine, that's got to be difficult for her. And someone who's protective of her emotions, I just hope that she doesn't like retreat on all of those moving forward. I hope that they're able to move past this. I didn't know that she really felt that way about LVP for a long time. I think she did a really good job of hiding those feelings. But, with Erika Jayne, she said it when LVP brought that up in the Bahamas about the note. Like, she said, Erika Jayne said it from the beginning. She's a sniper from the side. And so I think that Erika maybe didn't feel as comfortable the past few seasons being her full self, because she felt like she said this in some confessions that Lisa Vanderpump might use some of those things against her. And so you don't tell it all sometimes. And I mean, last night in her confession, she really just laid it out there about, she felt like LVP was a dark cloud. The removal of her from the group helped her to open up more. So tell us how you really feel. Were you guys as surprised as I was for her to say all these things about LVP? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I was really shocked. I wasn't expecting for her to say that much. Then we get on to the Rinna impersonation thing again. And what Erika said is so true. It's It's not weird that she impersonated me. It's weird that you're pushing this on me and trying to sway me into thinking and feeling some type of way about this that I don't want to feel. She gave us a Nene Leakes Real Housewives of Atlanta season 4 reunion. It's not changing over here, okay? She gave us my opinion is what it is, and it's not changing. That's what it is. Signed, sealed, delivered. They were both dogs with bones, frankly. I said that last week, but they just were not letting up. She's not offended by it. She wasn't offended by it. She's not going to be offended by it. Stop trying to sway her opinion into thinking that she's going to be offended by it. Then we get to the line where she does say to her, and we saw this in the preview of the season all the way back in February, but she's accusing Kyle and Teddy. And from a filming standpoint, it did look very cahoots because we've got 3 people on this side, we've got these 2 on this side, and they're just kind of bouncing back off of one another. And she's like, I think you 2 are in cahoots together. I think that you 2 are trying to make me feel some type of way about something that I didn't ever feel any type of way about. I feel like I'm being bullied. I'm going to bed. And she wasn't having it. She was not subscribing to their channel at all. It was wild. Do you think that Erika is taking this to the extreme, or do you think she's right? Do you think that Teddy and Kyle are in cahoots with one another? Or do you think that they just have this really special bond? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. It kind of ends with Erika telling Kyle, listen, let's talk about this in the morning. But something that I loved about that scene is Erika, Kyle saying, well, we're being honest. And Erika saying, well, I'm being honest too. Does my honesty not count? Meaning, I'm being honest with you and saying, I didn't feel any type of way about that. And I'm not going to feel upset that she used my persona to be able to say what she wanted to say. I really liked that line. I thought that was really good, to say in relationships and in friendship, hey, I'm being honest too. My response to what you're saying to me is my honesty. Doesn't that matter? That is it for this week's recap. It was a wild one. I think that we're finishing up in France next week. And, before we head out, let's do this week's Rose and Thorn. This week's Rose is Rinna Rosé, coincidentally. And listen, I would be here for it. I am signing up for it, and I would love to see that on QVC. I don't know if you can sell alcohol on QVC, but I think that we are going to be seeing a Rinna Rosé in the next 6 to 8 months. This week's Thorn definitely has to go to Camille, and I know that it's kind of old news. We knew that the house got burnt down in the fire, but it was really sad to see that played out again, and it was something she worked really hard for, so many memories, and I'm so thankful that Denise's house was okay, but really, really sad to see that Camille's house was completely devastated. So I hope that during the rebuilding the past 6 to 8 months that everything has been good with Camille, trying to get her life back in that house and regain whatever memories and make new ones. So that's this week's Thorn. Super sad. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Troy J. Robertson. I will see all of you back next week on Wednesday after Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on Tuesday. It'll be episode 20. They filmed the reunion. This season's we're chugging along here, people. So I will see you all back next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Over and out.